Okay, welcome everybody to the Monday, February 16th update and presentation call for the Velocity Bank Network. What I'm going to do here today is I'm going to walk you through what has transpired since last week. This is how the program will work and how it will be forever. Very important disclaimer here before we start is that what we've done up to this point means absolutely nothing. What we have going forward is a 100% sustainable, decentralized, peer to peer program that anybody can be part of because of the way we move the USDT among each other. So that's an important disclaimer because what we've just finished building is more powerful than anything that I thought we were going to build. And that being said, comes from just a lot of people last week with concerned with it taking 60 days. So we've sped the process up to where everybody that's in the ecosystem currently, minus the people that have left, obviously, will be in within the next 28 days. So, what we've created is an engine that is pretty amazing. So, I want to walk through this in a very slow pace today because it is very similar to what we were doing, but there's some things that are different that some people are going to be looking at saying, oh, I don't get that. Or, oh, I don't really understand why that is. So I'm going to go through it in a slow pace today. But that being said, we are 100% in the mode now of exactly what we built is what we're sticking with going forward. So, of course, we're a community powered, peer to peer, decentralized crypto ecosystem. Important disclaimers. Cryptocurrency investments carry substantial risk. The value of digital assets can be extremely volatile and may result in significant financial loss. This presentation is for informal purposes only, does not constitute financial investment or legal advice. Past performance and projections shown are not indicative of future results. All participants should conduct their own research and consult with qualified financial advisors before making any investment decisions. Never invest more than you can afford. So, as you can see here, I use the word for today's call investment because everybody that's on today's call has invested time and money over these last 5 months. Some of you guys have been in for 2 months, some 3 months. Some of you guys have been here the whole 5 months since we put this together. So, in my opinion, and I spent a lot of time talking to my people that I talk to on the legal side. I need to make this disclaimer today, and this will be the last time I make this disclaimer in this way, because everybody has had the option to transfer out. Okay, I will never ever make the disclaimer because time and money are no longer part of what we've done in the past. Your decision from here on in is, hey, I'm either all in or I want to get transferred back through the way that I came in, which is what we've been doing on a regular basis over the last 3.5 weeks or so now. Okay, very important that I make that disclaimer today for each and every one of you guys. So, our vision has always been about building a sustainable protocol, positive ecosystem where every participant contributes to and benefits from the network growth through a mathematically balanced reward distribution system using AI. It's been that way from
Amoy
day one.
yosi ang ano ni papa mo.
Oh, hang on one
Amoy
second.
yosi. Langhap ka ng yosi. Amoy yosi.
Okay. I don't know how that happened, but it did. Okay. The core architecture that now has been built, which will be built in three different systems. It's in our AI system. It's in our decentralized platform that's being built at the same time. And it will also be in the final smart contract somewhere over the next 90 to 180 days, depending on how well things go as to how fast we can feel comfortable that letting the smart contract do all the rewards works. So that's a core important piece here. All right, so we've got the feeder line, which a lot of you guys are familiar with, right? Feeder line, you come in for $100 and you sit and you wait. Then we have the velocity line. That's where you go when you have $1,000 available that you can use to take care of the chain. We have what's called a perpetual 2-to-1 trio system. Little different than what you guys were familiar with before. Everything we do now is based on the all three. That's why we call it a trio. We no longer talk about grids. We don't, it's a chain, but it's a trio of three that always have to happen. And everything happens in 28-day cycles now. So the feeder line is your entry path for new participants. Now, you can skip it and accelerate if you have the $1,000 and go directly to the velocity line as you've always been able to do. The chain engine, perpetual 2-to-1 trio system generates sustainable protocol surplus. This is where this is important. Somebody on the call last week made a great Jim. It was Jim. He made a great, he looked at it and said, hey, we're going to always need a lot more people filling from the bottom, right? And we were speeding the process up with the process that we went to, that we talked about last week, right? So what we did since really Friday is we reanalyzed everything and said, okay, how do we accomplish the three things that we want to accomplish? The first that we want to accomplish 100% is everybody that's in already, they get rewarded before 28 days. Okay. So that was our first thing, right? That was our first thing. Second thing we wanted to accomplish was that this would be sustainable from day one. Now, we accomplished that. And the last thing we wanted to accomplish was that this will be perpetual, meaning it never stops. So the link that you start with never stops giving you those rewards at any given time. And everything is very predictable on a 28-day cycle now. The reward distribution happens every business day at 8:59 a.m. So Monday to Friday, just like we had before, we still have the reward distribution, but key factor here, it's a 28-day cycles now. Key factor. Keep that in mind as we go through. All right. Now you have three link types. Okay. Feeder link. Oh, wait a minute. I got a little miss. Oh, here it is. Okay. Feeder link, entry pathway. Okay. You're going to come in on the feeder link, right? For $100. Okay. That's how that's going to work, right? You come in $100. What's going to happen is one of two things. Either a community member is going to bring you in as one of their connector links, or you're going to get swept in by the protocol, the velocity protocol that we have, right? So this is what happens when you come in as a feeder link now. You're going to get three $1,000 USDT rewards to your wallet, and you're going to get one that's going to go into what we call reserve. So over that 28-day cycle, you will have 4,000 in USDT rewards, but only 3,000 can you actually take to your wallet. The other 1,000 goes into reserve, you'll be able to use that as quick as you want to open a new link. But but this is important. This is where I said pay attention. But what's different is once you've been through the feeder or the direct, when you want to come back in using your reserves, you have to come in as a connector link, which means you have to bring two in with you. This is where I'm talking about what we've figured out sustainability wise is how what is the end game from what we created with a trio? The end game is that everybody always has two. What do we have right now? We have an 80-20, 70-30 split of people that have two that are really their two versus people that gave people two, all those things that have gone on, which doesn't matter anymore. None of that matters. That's the beauty of it. So you come in as a feeder, and this goes to what some people said last week, where they were like, well, people could just come in for $100. Yep, they can all day long. That link, that first link that they get, that link, they can never upgrade. That link always is worth the same every 28 days forever now. Okay? Never can that link be worth any more, or will it ever be worth any less? But that being said, they have 1,000 in reserve. As soon as they want to up it to have a second link that gives them more rewards throughout that 28-day period, they use that reserve along with bringing two people in with them. Now, let's look at what the direct link does now. So that means you came in, you don't have two people who you brought in with you in the same cycle. This is super important. This is what I want everybody to grasp. That's why I said this was going to be an important meeting. They had to come in the same cycle in order for them to be considered connector links. So when you have two people that you brought in, but they came in over a month's period, they don't count as connector links. They are just people that you brought in that you did not bring in during the same cycle, right? So here's what happens here. You get 6 $1,000 USDT wallet rewards, and you have two that now go into reserve that you can use as quick as you get them if you bring two connectors in, which means in that same cycle, right? So you want to use it today, you would have before 8:59 a.m. tomorrow, you would have to have two people teed up and ready to go before you use that. It will not let you use it unless you have the two people teed up, tied to your email address so that you can bring them in. So in this case, now you're getting 8,000 over that 28-day cycle with another 2,000 that you get to multiply with additional links. And you'll see that later in the presentation. Now, the premium tier is always going to be the connector link. That means, hey, you came in today, you brought your two with you, and that means you're going to get the max rewards, which would be 12,000 USDT total over a 28-day cycle. 9 of those will go to your wallet. The other 3 will go to giving you the ability to multiply links in the future. Super, super important that you realize that this connector link is now based on a set time. When you come in, you need to bring those two before you 8:59 a.m. the next day. Otherwise, you're considered a direct link. Super important to have those things and understand this is about multiplying rewards now, where before we were setting standards that were based on the ideal factor that, hey, I got in earlier than someone that's getting in 2 months from now. I'm going to be set on this many rewards. Now it's, hey, you get those initial rewards, but you get rewarded for making what makes this 100% sustainable, which is that everybody, every time they come in, they always bring two people. So what do you think's happening now? Every time we use one of these reserves, so whether you got a reserve from here, whether you have your 2 here or your 3 here, What do you have to do? You either got to go to the free agent pool and find two people that you can bring with you, or you bring in two brand new people with you. And what does that create? That creates the 100% sustainability forever. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, super important. We talked a little bit about this last week. So the feeder line and the velocity line have 100 slots tied to it. Okay, on any given day, there's 100 slots tied to it. Those are active spots. So if we have more than 100, you're going to end up in what's called the overflow of both of these lines, right? So you got 100 active in the feeder line. You got 100 active in the velocity line. Then you got what's super important now is 15 pairs, right? The perpetual 2-to-1 engine. Every day, what happens? We pull 15 from the 100, right? That's a total of 30, which means that we're going to pull 70 from here if there's nobody in the overflow, right? If there's somebody in the overflow, these go to the overflow first, and then they go over here. So that 100 is our benchmark where no matter what, we never go below 100. So that's what keeps us 100% sustainable. And how do we make sure that we always do that? Is because we put in that mechanism, right? That everybody, regardless of where you come in, you have one reward that's a reserve, you got two rewards that's a reserve, and you got three reserve rewards. And what happens with that? On any given day, you say, hey, I got my two. I'm ready to come in. And that always keeps both these lines 100% fed. And it gives everybody what they want. Everybody's in within the 30-day period or 28-day period. And everybody is able to multiply their rewards regardless of when they came in. All right. Now we got three link types, right? Got the feeder link, the direct link, and the connector link, right? So we just talked about, right? So you're going to be at 4,000, 8,000, or 12,000 with those three links. So you can come in your first time in the feeder link, right? And every link after that, though, that you get, you're always going to be a connector. Same with your directs, right? You come in as a direct every time after that because you're forced to bring two with you. Now, this goes to how do you recruit people? It's super easy. You've got two different things now. You've got your story that you're going to be able to say to somebody after 30 days, I put $1,000 in, I got 4,000, 3,000 that I put to my wallet, 1,000 that got me another link that's now going to give me 12 rewards in the next month when I bring two people in. Do you want to be one of my two? Super simple. No matter how you slice it, nobody will ever have trouble recruiting. And for people that don't want to recruit, you don't have to recruit because what's there? We got the feeder line for you. All you got to do is go in there, find the two people you want to upgrade those two people, and now you get on your next one, you're going to get your 12,000, right? So what did you do? You took 2 grand and you used it to bring somebody up from the feeder line, right? Two people, because you don't want to go talking to people, you didn't want to recruit anybody, but you're still in that first month going to net the 10, right? Plus you're going to net the over here from the month before, right? You're netting those 4,000 there minus, well, because you got to go back in. So you're really netting 9 plus 3. It's the first time I'm doing this, so understand. All right. Now, guys, just stop putting your hands up. It's really, really irritating. Just so you know. All right, the 2-to-1 engine. Okay. Now, how is this a little different than what you guys were used to before, right? It's different because it's based on a 28-day cycle, but it resets and continues indefinitely. Okay. So once you get put in here, this is the flow of what you're going to see, right? Think of it this way, simple way to look at it. You got a parent and you got two kids, right? So when you move from the velocity line based on your timestamp, right? You're going to have $1,000, right? Because that's what's in your reserve when you come in, right? You got 1,000. You had to have 1,000 to get in the velocity line. If you don't have 1,000, you can't get in, right? So you got that 1,000. Now, the first day that you come in, you're going to come in with two child, you and one other child. You're going to go right to a parent link that needs 2,000 to come up. When that 2,000 comes up, what are they going to do? They're going to keep 1,000 for their re-entry the next day. The other 1,000 is going to go out through the mechanism that we now have in place with the two protocols that we now have. Very, very simple, very easy. You know exactly where the money comes from and you know how the money works. There's no question on, hey, I came in as the child to this parent. I am now connected to them forever. And when the people come behind me, the same thing's going to happen. Now I become the parent link and the two childs come under me. And every day, 15 pairs, you can't come with one less. It's got to be the exact number. So it pushes everybody in this 28-day ecosystem cycle. But the cool thing is, instead of your rewards ending after 28 days, what did we do? We said, hey, what we're going to do is you're not going to keep all 28. We're going to put some in reserve. The ones in reserve now get you the ability to multiply, but we keep it so that you keep the links forever. So the earlier you got in, the better it's going to be for you going forward. All right. Now, let's talk about the 28-day cycle reward distribution. Each chain link completes 28-day cycles with a specific reward pattern that resets and starts over, creating links that have a perpetual reward. So you get paid on these forever. It never, ever stops. You're going to have what we call wallet days. That's where direct payments go directly to your wallet. And then we've got our protocol days that fuels the ecosystem sustainability. And then, of course, we got our reserve days. Those reserve days are the ones where you're doing what the protocol does because you're fueling the system again. Super simple to understand. You got your wallet days, you got your reserve days, and then you got the protocol. You're helping the protocol on the days that you are able to bring two people with you to use your credits. Now, the beauty about your credits is they never go away. So you can hold them forever if you want. They never go away. So here's the reserve credits. Okay. Reserve is connector only. So it forces you to get more rewards than you did when you came in for $100. So one thing I want to say about when you come in for 100, right? You came in for 100 and you're going to get a net of 4,000. So that's a pretty good deal at the end of the day, right? You come in for 1,000, you're going to get a net of 8,000. So that's a pretty good deal as well, right? But where the connector gets you into the premium rewards, that's where you really want to get with all of your links that you have over time. So used on first in, first out, right? So you got your reserve. It's sitting there. I've got two people ready to go. Boom. Whatever reward you have sitting there, that was the first one in. That's the first one that we use. You could have 10, you could have 20, you could have 15 stacked up, but the only time you can use it is when you have two people that you either bring from the feeder line or you bring in from friends and family, right? Because we don't advertise this. We're not marketing this on Facebook. We're not doing any Instagram ads. This is a decentralized platform, peer to peer. We do not do that with this program. Somebody asked me about that last week, and I said to them, it is not meant for you to advertise it. We are a decentralized peer-to-peer platform. You do not advertise this on it's peer-to-peer. It's people that you know or people that you know that give you people that you want to talk to. Credit usable only when achieving 2 referrals per cycle, as I said. and it accumulates over time. They never ever expire. So you could have them sitting there for a whole year. And then finally you go, holy cow, I have a good story. I've made all this without doing anything all year. I'm going to bring in 10 of my friends at that point. So very, very easy, very simple. All right. Now, the two per cycle that we talked about, right? The two new referrals have to be in that same cycle in order to unlock your reserve credits. This ensures active participation and network growth. Referral count resets each cycle for fair opportunity. So you don't do it, it's going to reset the next day. So if you ended up with one when you came in the regular velocity line, right? That next day it resets because you have to have two during that same time period. Now, somebody said to me last week, isn't that going to slow us down? No, it's not going to slow you down because we've now made the rewards to where at the end of the day, you get a lot more rewards if you are linked with two connectors. So you're going to look at it on a daily basis and say, hey, if I'm coming in today, do I have two people that I can bring with me? And you're either going to say, yes, I do, or you're going to say, hey, you know what? I'll come in myself right now. I'll earn the 8 rewards. I'll have one that's going to give me a new link, and then I'll use two of the 6 rewards to bring two people from the feeder line. So no retroactive upgrades. Each link type is fixed at creation. There's no way to change it. And all this is built, like I said, for the smart contract. That's why we've spent unbelievable hours since Friday. I don't think I've slept, to be honest with you. So, protocol, positive sustainability, right? The trio surplus, 1,000 USDT per active trio per cycle. The protocol days from the 28-day cycle script, right? Then we got no external. This is the most important piece right here. No external ever needed again. So the only reason you would ever have to put any funds in, right, after you've come in for that 100 or that 1,000 would be because you decide, hey, I'd rather pay 1,000 out of my rewards versus actually going and talking to people that I could bring in. So it's self-funding, it's re-entry mechanized. There's nothing to do. All right, let's talk about the daily processing, right? Update member status, reset referral counter, right? That referral counter now is based on that 24-hour period. There's hey, oh man, I got in at 9:03. Doesn't matter. Not done by 8:59. Those referrals do not count for this, but they're always going to count for your loads to your crypto cards that you'll have access to. Right now, Bankus, we're going to add another one in the coming days. So you'll have another one because this way here we have two different ecosystems that you can pull your money out of. Now, uh, the script, it runs every day. Okay. It executes the engine for distribution. Those 15 pairs happen every day, Monday to Friday, 8:59. It does everything that it needs to do in the background. You don't need to worry about anything. It does it all, and then it updates everybody's back office. The reserve connector links, you got the two refill, feeder, and velocity from the overflow. So every day, if there's people in the overflow, it's moving them just like it would when it moves them out of the hundreds from each one. But we never go below 100. Again, this is where we call in and we say to everybody, hey, we're at 100. If you've got reserves, it's time to use those. How can we help you use those? And then as a community, we help you use those reserves. That's the other big thing that keeps this thing flowing where it never ever stops for anybody. All right, let's talk a little bit about what everybody wants to know. Okay, so what kind of money can I make here, right? So, how the reserve rewards create exponential growth over 28-day cycles. Now, I didn't do this over a year. I went very short time, 3 and 6 months, just to give you guys an idea of what you got your hands on. Okay. Each $1,000 USDT reserve credit creates a new connector link. When two referrals requirement is met, that new connector generates 3,000 USDT in reserve over the 28-day cycle, right? For if you're at the top stop, right? If you're a connector, generates that 3,000. So let's take a look at some comparisons here, right? So 3 months feeder. You came in your first time on the feeder, but remember, we're going to force you, I hate to say it that way, but we are, to become a connector on the rest, right? So you're looking at six additional links for another 37,000 there, right? In rewards, they're going to get paid. As a direct, 1 to 4 links, 23K. You're going to end up with 14 links, 122K. So subtract out if you have to buy, if you have to pay it forward to somebody because either you are one of those people who has all kinds of people that have been part of things with you in the past and nobody wants to do anything with you, or you're just afraid to talk to people. Doesn't matter. Wherever you fall in that window, that's what the direct will do for you because these 14 are all going to be considered connectors at that point. Now, if you're a connector from day one, right? You're talking about your 1 to 4 links, 48, your 32 links, 384,000. So 3 months, 6 months, 3 months, 6 months. So if you don't think there's any money here, walk away now, right? These are rewards that are going to come forever. They're never, ever, ever going to stop. Okay. Now, if you don't believe it, hey, that's fine. You can sit. If you came through the feeder, you only put $100 up, see what happens, see where it goes. And again, you never ever have to use those reserves. You can just sit there and you can just every 28 days take that 3,000 and use it for your monthly expenses, whatever you want to do. But that's how the multiplication effect works and why, based on the feedback last week that we got from people, even though there's so many people that, they're changing things, they're doing this. You know what? I look at it a little different. I wanted this to be right when we launched this a week ago. Yeah, I guess about a week. Well, 10 days, 9 days ago. I thought it was pretty good. But the amount of people, and I get, and it may just be that people like to complain, but the amount of people that complained about it taking 60 days, we figured out a way to do it in 30 or 28 actually. So I'm not in any way going to defend what I got from feedback, nor am I going to tell anybody that you have no right to be upset. So you guys can all be however you want to be, but understand this is what we're doing going forward. Okay. There is nothing else on the table. Okay. One of the things that I had said last week until we figured this out over the weekend is, oh, hey, later on we could go from $1,000 to a 5,000. We never ever need to change the math again because you just keep adding additional connector links and that keeps adding more and more dollars, right? And if you're using these dollars right with some of the other programs that we have, there's no reason why anybody that's on these calls that's been taking their time and they took their original dollars that they put in should in any way feel like they're not going to get more than compensated for the time they put in. So that's my opinion, and I'm going to stick with it. But I'm not going to make any excuses for anybody that's upset on one way or the other. I will answer questions as I always do. I'll tell you like it is, but this is the way it is, and there is no other way that we're going to go. There's no, hey, this is the most sustainable platform that has, in my opinion, that I've ever seen that can rely on a trio of people, 3 people making sure that the guy at the top isn't making all the money. Now, the guy that gets more links, they're going to make more money, or the gal, right? But it's everybody's working with $1,000. No, there's no, hey, oh my God, I made $60 this month. I made $80 this month. No, you come in as a feeder. What are you going to do? Right? You're going to get three of those rewards that will cover you for $3,000, one a week, minus the one that will go to reserve, which is right in the middle. I don't have the exact days of how they work, but we'll have that all kind of figured out. Well, it's figured out. We'll have it on in some documents that'll be up in Discord in the next couple days. Now that we got everything in loaded into the logic. So if you're watching this on the replay, I think we're done. Yeah. If you're watching this on the replay, again, this will be the last time I do the presentation the way I did it today. Starting tomorrow, it will be it'll be the way that the presentation should be done. Not going to go into heavy detail explaining what we did before, all that stuff. So this one here will be up. You'll be able to utilize it. You can send it to the people you want to send it to today. You can do whatever you want. And remember, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you automatically get it once we get done with the call and we get it put up there. So I'll end this presentation with didn't get an update yet this morning as to if everybody's cards are working, whether you have the digital or which one. What I do know is they keep putting more and more people into the digital card, which is part of the bottleneck. I saw they went over 80,000 today. And I'm supposed to be on a call later today with the founder and the co-founder, and they're supposed to have some insight on what they're doing to make sure that in the future they don't have a shutdown like what happened last week. So that's my update on that for now. So let me end this recording for now.